Hey everyone, my name is Cyrus. I'm a technical lead at the Icon Foundation, and today I'm here to answer some questions from the community. So let's jump right into the questions. Marco Brolo asks, "Hey Cyrus, thanks for all the hard work you and the rest of the dev team are putting together into this project. Thanks, appreciate it. I'm curious if there are any bridge or BTP integrations in the pipeline that haven't already been announced. I recall seeing TJ hinting at a couple. Yeah, we have Ethereum next in the pipeline after Binance Smart Chain and Harmony. Java Schnatzvili, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name there, asks, "Hi Cyrus, is the full BTP planning to launch as BTP 2.0 or once the high gas fees have been solved?" BTP 2.0 is the purpose of it is to solve the high gas fees, and you can think of BTP 2.0 as the full version of BTP that will be launching once it is ready. In the meantime, we have the Icon bridge, which is a centralized bridging solution that circumvents the gas problem because it's not using on-chain verification. Rook77 asks, Icon does have a feature that allows score owners, aka service providers, to pay for customer transactions in advance to attract more users. Will the initial version of Icon Bridge allow this feature with other blockchains? The Icon Bridge, the person who is executing the transaction is also paying for the transaction. Rook77 also asks, how difficult or easy is it to integrate BTP to enterprise private blockchains relative to public blockchains? For enterprises that are the customer of Icon Loop, it's very, very simple because this is already a part of the solution that is provided to those enterprises. It's much more challenging for public blockchains because we don't develop the architecture of those blockchains. The Shmoo asks, I was wondering if the gas fees solution will be similar for all integrations or whether it will be blockchain specific. I would also love to know the timeline. So the gas fee solution for Icon is specific. The gas fee solution for every other blockchain is the same. And the reason for that is we have more freedom with the Icon blockchain than we do with others. We'll be able to put out a network proposal with the hopes and belief that network validators will agree with that proposal to reduce the cost of smart contracts that are verifying the state of other blockchains on Icon. Something like that we don't really expect to be possible with external blockchains. So what we do instead with those is we only ever send BTP messages that are routed to those blockchains. We have to maintain the state of every other blockchain on Icon, but for verifiers that exist on other blockchains, we only have to maintain the state associated with BTP messages for that specific chain. Guy Pulitzer asks, hi, Icon will have BTP protocol set for interoperability. Why do we really need ICE? Is BTP not enough? That's a good question. ICE is another ICE is another blockchain that the Icon Foundation has taken part to develop. The reason that ICE is still useful in the context of Solidity development and EVM compatibility, let's say that we have integration with a chain that already people can write Solidity contracts and transfer those to Icon or something like this, so that way you can do cross-chain transactions with Solidity but without using ICE. I think that's what this guy is getting at as to why do we need ICE. Well, the thing is, we can more granularly control the fees associated with these kinds of transactions on ICE than we can with other EVM compatible chains. Um, it's much more developer friendly to do it on ICE than it would be to do it on other chains. Also, ICE is sort of like a gateway to the rest of the Polkadot ecosystem. So it has value there as well. Yap Yap asks, is there a solution to the gas fee problem, or are you still looking? Yeah, so we do have a solution to the gas fee problem. As I mentioned, the BTP is our BTP 2.0 is going to be resolving that. I can see there's a lot of questions about specifically how BTP solves this gas fee issue. So I think I might do a follow-up video kind of walking through how that solution works once the design is more fully ready. But at a high level, we have the solution, and effectively the reason that gas fee is an issue is because in order to securely verify on chain, you have to maintain the state of the blockchain, regardless of whether or not there are BTP messages on a block. And so what we're doing is we're creating like virtual blockchains that only ever contain BTP messages. So the gas cost scales like at like a constant rate with the number of BTP transactions, as opposed to before. Without this, it scales just with the number of blocks that are being produced, which has, it can get a lot more costly if there's no BTP messages, and we're still paying for that. Oh, Yup asked a few more questions here. So the next one is, it takes a lot of time to connect with a new chain. There's no fully connected chain so far. Is there a way to solve this? So we will shortly have Harmony and BSC connected through the Icon bridge, and people will be able to transact with those. Doing cross-chain transactions through Nexus. And then we'll have, as I mentioned, we'll have Ethereum shortly after that. And the reason that there's not much of a lead time there is these are all EVM compatible chains. And so the initial integrations take a long time because we're developing kind of the full end-to-end. But once you have that, if you're integrating on chains that have similar architecture, it gets really fast and really easy to do after that. So you can kind of expect that subsequent chain integrations will take less time. The only caveat being that it is dependent on the architecture of the chain that's being integrated. So if it's something that's completely unique, then that would take more time. Elo asks, how do we compare to Chainlink CCIP? Are we competing or are we complementary? Thanks for your hard work. Oh, well, thank you, Elo. I appreciate the support. So Chainlink CCIP uses off-chain oracles for verification, and BTP uses on-chain smart contracts for verification. It's hard to say whether we're competing or complementary because I haven't seen much information released yet from CCIP, but I would think that we're kind of we're kind of more complementary because I would think that we have two separate market segments because of the distinction of how verification is done and how the needs of a consumer may be different depending on what level of security that they want. Elo also asks, how hard or easy is it to convince a team to work with Icon through BTP, and how does that start? Well, a lot of it's just business development, like different blockchain foundations have grants for like cross-chain integrations and bridging solutions and stuff like this. So through that's what we did with Algorand was we got a grant through them and contracted out one of their recommended service providers to develop that. We have a core integration, sort of like a special interest group that is doing right now the Binance Smart Chain, Harmony, and Near integrations. And that special interest group is going to grow over the next few months so that we'll be able to make our system more robust and also provide more chain integrations faster. Carp32 asks, how long has BTP been in development for? Well, so I guess, for me, I started at the Icon Foundation back in, I think, September. So I don't really know beyond that. I used to be a community member before joining the foundation. So as far as I remember, like I remember there was an announcement in, I think, 2018 or something like that. But I don't really remember. And I haven't been here long enough to know exactly how long BTP has been in development for, but it's been a few years. And I would say, like, as far as what I know, the reference specification has been out for a pretty long time, but because we went from Icon 1 to Icon 2, there was a little bit of a lead time between when the implementation of BTP would start kicking into gear. And we're at that point now, right? I think pretty recently there was an announcement about how the Icon Loop public platform team is now fully on to BTP. So that's because the work associated with the public Icon 2 blockchain is now in more of a maintenance state. And so we can focus all of our resources onto BTP now. And that's just from Icon Loop. Again, we have separate entities as well working on the integration side. And those are also expanding. So there's going to be a lot more development as far as BTP goes. And I would say development on Icon in general has been growing and is the biggest it's ever been since I've been here, and also since having been a community member and just looking from the outside. All right, the last one, Pug the Slug asks, good day. ICP have announced direct integration with Bitcoin, bridging Bitcoin to the internet computer. The integration implements chain key cryptography to establish a secure direct interface with Bitcoin Ledger, making it trustless rather than reliant on an intermediary. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. Is this possible with BTP? Okay, so this question's asking, like, pretty much, will BTP connect with Bitcoin? That's a good question. I think that's definitely something that, like, I personally am pretty interested in. I think that would be really cool. However, because Bitcoin doesn't have smart contract capabilities, it would be a very bespoke architecture just for Bitcoin. And right now we don't really have any plans to do that currently. So maybe after BTP 2.0, this is something that we'll revisit, but for right now, this isn't really something in our pipeline. All right, that's it for the community questions. Thanks, guys, and I look forward to doing this again. I think I'll be kind of speaking more frequently to the community and trying to give updates and inform everybody as I can.